Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and this episode is primarily dedicated to writers of fiction specifically. And so a couple of weeks ago, I heard about a technique that Raymond Chandler used. So Raymond Chandler was a writer. Most notably, he wrote like The Big Sleep, so he was kind of very into kind of the film noir, detective-esque type of genre. And one of the techniques when he wrote that he used was he would write everything on an index card because he wanted to have action very fast. If within, on that index card, nothing actually happened, nothing actually turned, his writing was boring. And I just find that so fascinating. Like, I always love discovering the techniques people employ in their creativity. And to really utilize something like that, I think is just fantastic. Because I do think oftentimes, sometimes like there have been novels that I read that are just kind of, adding in fluff for the sake of fluff. And it's certainly like when I wrote my first novel and any sort of writing that I do, you want it to be as exciting as possible. Obviously you want to, there's part of it that, at least for me, I want to let things breathe a little bit when necessary, because I think, for me, there are beauty in silence, but even in that, like, in those moments of silence, things are happening, right? It's whatever's not being said. So even in that sense, like thinking about it from that perspective of, someone's awkwardly looking down at their hands or someone's looking away, right? All these things, those can be moments too, but, and I think that's what, like, adopting the Raymond Chandler method is really all about, is something has to be happening every single time. And that's what great writing is. I mean, one of my mentors, John Comerford, who I just love working with, he's such a brilliant person, as he always says, and other people have said as well, but he also provides me with techniques of how to do this in my own life. But he always says you want to have the maximum impact in the shortest amount of words. And certainly by forcing yourself to write on an index card, if you fill that index card up and things haven't moved, then you're not having that sort of maximum impact in the shortest amount of words. So I would encourage you, try this method out. It's a little different than kind of outlining, because obviously when you outline, that you're just specifically writing the big thing. This is more in terms of the actual writing process itself. So not the outlining, but the process itself. So please don't kind of confuse the two, although I do use note cards for outlining and things of that nature, because those certainly help. And one of the benefits is you can kind of move them around as necessary, or take something out and get rid of it, put in another one, right? I mean, people have talked about outlining with note cards ad nauseum at this point. But certainly Raymond Chandler is the first person I've ever heard of writing novels on index cards. And as I said, I just found that absolutely fascinating. And yeah, there's something for that. So I'm kind of trying to, in my own way, like, I'm very digital, so everything I write is very digitally. But even to that effect, it's kind of cool because, let's say with Microsoft Office, you can certainly rework the margins and so forth to fit what an index card would be, and write it that way and see if it's really moving, right? That's the beauty of kind of our online world. We can reshape anything how we want to fit our needs. And so, you can utilize that technique. You can even do it in Google Docs, right? Or whatever sort of form, whatever program you're using to write. We all have the ability to change the sizing of the page. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on this. As I said, when I first learned it, I was just floored by it and fascinated all at the same time. If you have any comments, or especially if you've tried this out, Let me know what your thoughts are, writing down below, or hit me up on social media at Svitek. Also, to that point, if there's any specific writing techniques you have that are sort of out of the box but really work for you, I'd love to know them. I love learning this type of stuff and really deep diving, so please share. I love to converse with you that way. Also, if you think someone in your life would benefit from this lesson, by all means, share it with them. I certainly would appreciate it, and if you appreciate what I'm talking about, I would encourage you to subscribe if you haven't already. That way you get all the various lessons that I put out right when I put them out. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I hope this is beneficial, and I hope to see you next time.